Hi guys, welcome back. This is game 4. Not game 4 actually, but board 4. Board 3 was between Victor Ngani and Joseph Methu. And Methu was playing black. I found the score sheet, but then it's also very hard to decipher what they were writing. I mean, these guys are just scribbling on the recording sheets, which is understandable, and they can't really blame anything like that. But personally, I like studying games and I like just admiring good games and beautiful games. But that was really, I mean, I found Ngani's recording sheet, and again, Ngani is a doctor, so there's that. Then nobody even knows where Methu's recording sheets go to. I don't think there is any recording sheet from Methu that has ever been found. So anyway, we're here. Also, their game ended. Methu won on board 3, so it's a draw from board 1. Equity taking board 2 with Patrick Kauma against Ben Magana. Board 3, Methu beating Victor Ngani. That's KCB winning. And this is board 4.5 at this point. No, it's a 1.5 to 1.5 at this point. And yeah, it's Hugh against Jackson. Can it really get better than this? So anyway, I'm not getting my thoughts in order. Hi guys, welcome back. Now we're looking at the game. Jackson Kamau versus Hugh Misiko that happened on board 4. It's now okay, but I wasn't really able to read what was happening between Victor Ngani and Joseph Methu. I just know the score because I couldn't find Methu's recording sheet. God knows where it is. And Victor Ngani is a doctor, so there's that. You can't really read what he's writing. So the scores at this point, there was a draw on board 1 between FM Wanyama and FM Haruna. And on board 2, Equity took the game with Kauma Patrick beating Ben Magana. And on board 3 was Victor Ngani against Joseph Methu. Actually, Joseph Methu was playing black. Yeah, Joseph Methu was playing black and Ngani white. And Methu won that game. So the score's even, 1.5, 1.5 at this point. And it's Jackson Kamau against Hugh Misiko. You can't really ask for anything better than this at this point. So pawn to e4 was played by Jackson Kamau, and Misiko chose to employ the Karokan this time. Misiko likes this Karokan French type of structures, and he plays them really well. So pawn to d4 was played, inviting the Karokan. He takes, c takes on d5, and now bishop to d3, knight to f6, knight to f3, bishop to g4. Now pawn to c3. That's normal things that have been seen for ages and ages. So pawn to e6 was played, and now bishop to g5, just forcing the development of the bishop to e7. Knight to d2, knight to c6, castles, pawn to e6, and now rook a to e1. Pawn to c8, rook to c8, pardon, and now rook to e3, queen to e5. Now Jackson Kamau played bishop back to b1. Okay, so I'm trying. I really tried to understand what was happening in this game, and I'm not going to lie to you that I understood everything, but the game was so complicated. I couldn't get my head wrapped up around all the intricacies that were happening in this game. So in this position, clearly bishop to b1 was the engine. The evaluation says it's a blunder, it's a mistake, not really a blunder. But then the idea that it's advocating for is knight to b3. Yeah, I know. So queen takes on a2, queen takes on a2, and now you play knight to c5. Bishop takes, and now you take on f6. He goes back with the bishop to f8, just defending the g6 pawn, and now you come back with your bishop. So ideas, so many ideas in this position. You can't really grab the b2 pawn because then you lose the e5 pawn, the d5 pawn, pardon. And the game, continues from this position. Many ideas. You can even play bishop back to e7 now, and bishop to e7, maybe queen to g3, just adding more defense here and trying to infiltrate in some way. But again, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't really understand what was happening in this game. So instead of this, Jackson Kamau played bishop to b1, and now he allowed this tactic with knight takes on d4, winning a pawn, moved his queen to h3, and now Misiko just brought his knight back. So you look at the position and you think, I mean, yeah, we're upon down, but so what? The game continues, right? But you, black has actually equalized from the opening, and it's really hard for white to prove that he has something in this position, something really tangible. But Jackson Kamau is Jackson Kamau, and this guy can just he positions tactics rise like phoenixes in games that he plays in. So you have to keep your eye open. So anyway, he played rook f to e1, and now Misiko played his pawn to d4, just trying to break open in the center. Plus, he gave you the leeway to play pawn to d4, so why not? And now Jackson plays rook takes on e6, sacrificing his rook for 2 pawns, and incredible play. So Misiko took the rook. Jackson played queen takes to d6, and Misiko played king to d8. So the idea here is rook to d8 instead of king to d8, and it continues with bishop takes on f6, g takes on f6, and now knight jumps in, trying to exploit the weakness that is on f6. Rook defends, and you still take, and take the rook, and the game goes back to being almost equal in terms of material, but white doesn't have enough attackers to really exploit the position that black is in, and it's going to be almost straightforward for black from this position. So again, this game was too complicated. I mean, it's really hard to see everything that was happening. So but Misiko played king to d8, and the sacrifice that Jackson had played paid off. So he played bishop to f4, bishop to f5, pardon, just adding more pressure to the rook. And Misiko played rook to c7. Jackson played pawn to c4, which is kind of a blunder, a mistake in this position. So the idea is to actually continue with bishop takes on f6, pawn takes on f6, knight to b3, chasing the queen away. Queen goes back to b6, also defending the c5 square, and now you take back with the pawn, and the game continues from here. And you have, as white, you have some mild pressure on the position. It's not really it's not really that easy, rather, for black to play, because you can always sacrifice the bishop on h5 and play maybe queen to g8 check and pick up the rook. So many ideas in the position. You can always push this pawn. It's okay, it's almost a drawish position, but again, it's really easy for white to play the position. So instead, Jackson played pawn to c4, queen to b4 was played, bishop back to f4, just applying pressure on the rook on c7. But then again, you don't really have enough attackers in this position to actually hit and like damage black's position properly. So Misiko played rook to e8, just adding more defense to the bishop on e7 and preparing to move it out of the way. Jackson played queen to f7, moving out of the way. Now after bishop to d6, the rooks were traded on e8, and Jackson played his queen back to d5. Misiko played queen to c5, bishop to g5 with check, and after knight back to e7, you look at the position and you see that again white doesn't have enough attackers to really cause problems in the position. You might want your knight on e4 this position, but it's just too far away, and a move too far away rather. So queen to f7 was played, pawn to g6, and in this position Jackson didn't have a move to play, and his clock ran out entirely, because again it's a really hard position to play. You can maybe try and play something like knight to e4, but then after knight to e4, where does it really go to? You don't have that crashing move, because after knight to e4, Misiko can play just queen to b4, threaten mate, and you don't really have any move that comes with immense tempo. Your bishop is hanging, mate is hanging on the back rank, so it's really hard for Jackson to play this position. So with this result, where Misiko wins against Jackson Kamau, the game is now 2.5 to 1.5, and now the score is dependent on the game that Julie is playing against Joyce Nyaruai. So yeah, this was the game between Jackson Kamau and Hugh Misiko. It's crazy that rook takes 26 almost works in this position. Meaning rook takes 26, takes, and after king to d8, supposed to be, you look at the position as black and you think, I'm a rook up, why am I not winning? What's really happening? But again, the tempo and the pressure that white is playing with is immense. So this was a game between Jackson Kamau and Hugh Misiko on board 4, and the scores are now 2.5 to 1.5 in favor for equity, all dependent on the last game between Joyce Nyaruai and Julie Motisia. So we're going to look at that game next. Stay tuned. Make sure you comment, you subscribe, and hit the like button. More and more games will be coming. So this is it. Hope you have an amazing rest of your week.